As a man, the strength of your muscles, your bones, and even your mind are dependent on keeping your testosterone levels elevated over time. And even though testosterone levels naturally decrease with age, there are 17 simple science-based tips that you could start doing today, regardless of how old you are, to start improving your testosterone levels naturally. Now, the very first thing that will make a huge difference is getting and staying lean. Maintaining a lean body fat percentage is beneficial because research shows that the more fat you carry, the lower your testosterone levels tend to be. This is due to a number of different reasons, including the fact that excess body fat triggers the aromatization process, which converts testosterone into the female hormone estrogen. Of course, you don't want to be too lean, like under 8% body fat, because that's also not optimal for your testosterone levels. The ideal range for testosterone optimization seems to be around a body fat range for men between 8 to 14%. Another powerful proven way to boost testosterone that most people don't know about is simply making a few postural adjustments. In a study from Harvard, researchers looked at the ways that making postural changes impacted the participants' levels of stress hormones and testosterone. Specifically, they wanted to learn the effects of having the participants do a series of high-power poses. These included things like standing tall, taking up more space, putting their hands on their hips, and other similar power-type poses. They also had them take on low-power poses. These included postural adjustments like taking up less space and insecure closed-off positions. And the results were pretty amazing. In just 2 minutes, the power poses increased testosterone levels by 20%. Meanwhile, the low power poses reduced testosterone levels. On top of that, the power poses were able to reduce cortisol, the stress hormone, by 25%, while the low power poses increased cortisol levels. So doing your best to maintain good posture and working on your posture over time can actually benefit things like your confidence and even your testosterone. Next, make sure you're lifting weights. It's actually one of the best things you could do for your testosterone levels as far as activity. For example, researchers recruited male university students that had no previous experience with lifting weights, and they had them follow a weight training program 3 times per week. Thanks to this, the students boosted their testosterone levels by 40% in 4 weeks, and they also lowered their resting cortisol levels by 24%. We have other research that supports this by showing that resistance training upregulates testosterone receptors. This means your body can use testosterone more effectively when you consistently incorporate resistance training. Another proven tip is to simply get enough sleep. Sleep has a significant impact on your testosterone levels. For example, one study found that after a week of participants sleeping 5 hours a night instead of 8 hours a night, their testosterone levels dropped by around 15%. Another study that recruited over 500 men also found a link between sleep duration and testosterone levels. The scientists found that each extra hour of sleep raised testosterone by roughly 15%. So try your best to get enough sleep, which for most people is going to be somewhere between 7 and 9 hours of sleep per day. You'll also want to decrease stress as much as possible. Short-term stress like having a deadline or even being excited when trying something new like skiing, for example, that kind of acute stress may actually even be beneficial for your health. However, chronic stress like ongoing financial problems, being trapped in a job that you don't like, or an unhappy marriage can really mess with your testosterone levels. This is because chronically high levels of the stress hormone cortisol impair testosterone production inside your body. You see, cortisol requires pregnenolone for its creation, which is the same building block required for testosterone's creation. That's why cortisol can rob the raw materials your body needs to make testosterone. So try to control your stress levels with some proven techniques like exposing yourself more to nature, meditating, and developing a more flexible mindset. Now, everyone knows that increasing testosterone is one of the best things you can do for your sex life. But did you know that it also works the other way around? For example, we have a study that shows that testosterone levels rise on the days that couples have sex, and they decline on the days that they don't. And another study found that it could increase testosterone by as much as 72%. So that's something to keep in mind. The bottom line is that the more sexually active you are, the more you create a positive feedback loop, leading to improved testosterone levels. Next, you'll want to reduce your exposure to man-made chemicals like BPA, parabens, phthalates, and benzophenones. The truth is that today the environment is loaded with anti-androgens, which are compounds that lower testosterone and prevent testosterone from binding to its receptor. For example, plastic water bottles and plastic meal containers are loaded with BPA, which is a compound used to harden plastic. Studies show that BPA lowers testosterone and can even cause erectile dysfunction. It's especially problematic to heat plastic because that causes much more of the anti-androgen compounds to leak into your meal or beverage. Other examples of products with high levels of anti-androgens are air fresheners, certain shampoos, soaps, shaving creams, moisturizers, and even deodorants. Fortunately, with a small amount of research, you can very easily replace these with natural alternative products. Now, as far as your diet goes, you definitely want to optimize your dietary fat intake. Low-fat diets are bad for your testosterone levels. For example, one study moved participants from a diet containing 40% of their calories coming from fat to a diet containing 25% of the calories coming from fat. The results showed that testosterone increased when fats were above 40%, but they plummeted when they were below 25%. So make sure you're eating enough dietary fat, but keep in mind that not all fats are created equal. The ones that have the most beneficial effects for your testosterone are saturated and monounsaturated fatty acids. Meanwhile, trans fat has a negative effect. Another thing that's proven to have a negative effect is excessive alcohol consumption. Research shows that light drinking doesn't necessarily have an adverse effect on testosterone, but heavy drinking can highly decrease your testosterone levels. So try to only drink in moderation and don't drink too much in one sitting. Also remember that it's better to go with liquor or wine instead of beer, because the hops found in beer can impair testosterone on their own because they're estrogenic. Now, a preventative that can actually boost testosterone quite a bit is to take a hard look at the prescription drugs that you're taking. Of course, this should be done with the supervision of your doctor, and I'm not saying at all that you should stop taking your prescribed medications. However, there's no doubt that eating a healthier diet and consistently exercising can help you reduce your need for certain prescription medications that have negative effects on your testosterone levels. These include statins, beta blockers, heartburn medicine, antidepressants, and painkillers, just to list a few. So if you suffer from low testosterone symptoms, you may want to talk with your doctor about whether they might be partially due to a prescription drug that you're taking. And remember, natural healthy lifestyle changes can help reduce or fully replace some of these medications. Moving on, let's talk about vitamin and mineral deficiencies. Almost all vitamins and minerals impact testosterone in one way or another. That's why micronutrient deficiencies can be so detrimental to your hormonal health. For example, looking over at vitamin D, we have a study involving over 2,000 men that found that the men with a sufficient vitamin D level had much higher testosterone than the ones that were deficient in vitamin D. The scientists also found a close link between changes in plasma vitamin D concentrations and testosterone. During the months that the men had higher vitamin D levels, which happened to be the summer months when they got more sunshine, their testosterone levels were also higher. But during the winter months, when they got less sunshine, their testosterone levels dropped down. Keep in mind, vitamin D isn't the only macronutrient that's essential for hormonal health. Other crucial ones are zinc, selenium, boron, and magnesium, all of which are proven to boost testosterone. So try to meet all your micronutrient needs by consuming a nutritious diet and possibly supplementing with any specific micronutrients like zinc if you sweat a lot or you don't think you're getting enough through your diet. Speaking of supplements, one that you might have heard of before is ashwagandha. This is a herb that's used in an ancient Indian medicine practice, and there's evidence that it can have a positive effect. For example, in an 8-week study, men with infertility problems found that 675 grams of ashwagandha root extract increased serum testosterone levels by 17% compared to a placebo. And another study found that just 5 grams of ashwagandha a day for 90 days increased testosterone by 16 to 40% in infertile men and by an average of 15% in fertile men. To reap the benefits, it's recommended that you take 300 to 500 milligrams of a root extract with a meal, ideally for breakfast. Another proven supplement is Tongkat Ali, which is a herbal medicine that comes from a shrubby tree native to Southeast Asia. It has a long tradition of being used for boosting male potency, and research backs up that it can actually help. For example, one group of moderately stressed participants increased their testosterone levels by 37% and lowered their cortisol by 16% as a result of consuming 200 milligrams of this supplement for 4 weeks. For this one to be effective, it's recommended that you have 200 to 300 milligrams of 100-to-1 extract concentration, which equals 20 to 30 grams of this herb in its dry root form. Forskolin is another supplement that has a long history as a folk remedy for asthma. Although it won't fix asthma, it may increase testosterone. A 12-week double-blind study involving overweight and obese men found that taking a forskolin extract twice per day raised testosterone levels by over 33%. Now, there are natural foods that you can also use to help with testosterone. Ginger root is a perfect example of this. While ginger is usually appreciated for its anti-inflammatory properties, not many people know that it can also be used to boost your testosterone levels. We have a number of studies on rodents that prove this, and a human study that found that consuming ginger daily for 90 days was able to increase testosterone by over 17% in infertile men. Unfortunately, the study doesn't really say how much ginger the participants consume daily, but for most people, 1 to 3 grams per day is the recommended amount. Another thing that you should definitely do if you feel that you're having testosterone issues, especially out of the blue, is to go get checked out. Sure, you can optimize your diet, your sleep schedule, your exercise routine, and take the right supplements, but if things aren't working right on a deeper level, then your testosterone can still be taking a beating. This is because the Leydig cells of your testicles produce about 95% of the testosterone in your body. So if you suffer from low testosterone symptoms, even though you're doing everything right, it's probably a good idea to get checked out by a doctor. One of the most common issues that men have in this department is known as varicocele. This is the medical term for partially blocked veins, which can lead to low sperm production, decreased sperm quality, infertility, and of course low testosterone. In fact, according to the University of Iowa, varicoceles are the most common cause for male factor subfertility, accounting for up to 40% of the cases. They also state that this condition can be found in nearly 15% of all men. In other words, it's pretty common, so don't be afraid to go get it checked out. Finally, something that men can do as they get older is testosterone replacement therapy. Again, I'm not advocating for this at all, and you should definitely consult with your doctor about the pros and the cons. If none of the natural tips work well enough to bring your testosterone levels back up to the level that you want, you can always consider starting testosterone replacement therapy, or TRT. This isn't something to take lightly though, because it'll cause your natural testosterone production to slow down or to be shut down completely, and it can have adverse consequences, especially when TRT is used irresponsibly. So if this is something that you're considering, make sure you talk to a doctor or an endocrinologist. This can help you decide whether it's right or wrong for you, and if it's right for you, what the best way is to move forward. So those are 17 science-based tips that you can start implementing today to boost your testosterone levels. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel, and if you'd like to take the